flag.
So yes, all of those backflips, 6 of them, means that Johann Zarco had this lead in the standings. Tito Rabat was the only guy that could challenge him, but Tito Rabat is injured. He's been ruled out of this weekend. We don't know when he's going to be fit again. It was an injury that he sustained in training in Almeria. It meant that Johann Zarco got the world title, and I think we should hear from the backflipping Frenchman now.
To be too much relaxed because it can be dangerous and I can fall, get injury. So I want to keep this concentration. At the moment it's working well, I'm pushing to do it. So it's pretty good to do the pole position. Target is the victory. Be careful with the other beginning of the race with fuel tank. It can be difficult to manage the bike, but I think for the end of the race I can be one of the strongest.
So Johann Zarco, James, he has just been a class act on and off the bike. He's been charming in interviews. He's been so calm and collected. He's always talked about the virtue of having a great team around him. He has had it this year, and that World Championship is really deserving, isn't it?
It is. It will find it a bit of a shame that Tito couldn't challenge him right up to the death, but unfortunately with Tito breaking his left radius, it ruled him out of this weekend and possibly even in Australia. But a deserved champion. He was 82 points in the lead of the championship before this race, and he was looking likely that he was going to win it anyway. But if any young rider are looking to look at the perseverance and dedication of a rider, like we say, he was the first ever Red Bull Rookies champion in 07, but he started his 125s in 2009 in 20th place in the championship and went on, gradually climbing his way through the ranks in Moto2. He was only struggling in the top 10, really. He wasn't a championship challenger. But then in 2015, as soon as he's joined this Aki Ayao team, what a result that he's had with this team and how consistent he's been.
Yeah, and he's made the stand saying that he doesn't want to move up to MotoGP yet. He's not ready. He wants to stay and try and defend that world title. And we've seen with Tito about how hard that is to defend it.
It is, but I think it's because he's been a slow burner. He's not been like an Alex Rins that's come in and straight away been on the podium. It's took him a long time, you know, to start in championships in 20th place, and then in 010 it was 11th. So you're lucky to keep your ride. Never mind have an opportunity to develop as a rider and keep going, to put yourself in a position where you can win championships. And I'm glad that he did have it, because you know it just proves that if you keep your head down and keep working hard, you can achieve your goals.
Yeah, and I was at a press conference in Aragon, and it was really nice actually, because some of the questions were, is he too old now? Has he missed that window to go to MotoGP? And Valentino Rossi was next to him and he went, look at this man, he's doing it, he's 36 years old. I haven't had my time yet at MotoGP, and it's coming, and it's come for Sam Lowes as well, isn't it?
He does, yeah, especially for Sam, you know. But again, Sam's in his second year, doing a consistent job this year. He was in his rookie season last year and a little bit inconsistent, but he's got it together. Not as well as this rookie. I mean, he's an amazing year, Alex Rins. But for Sam, he's got a 3-year deal now set out. He's on the Calex next year, replacing Xavier Simeon, and then he's developing the Aprilia MotoGP bike, and then he's actually going to be in MotoGP, which I'm really looking forward to, on the Aprilia in 2017 and 2018. But it's been a great season for Sam, and it's just deserves on getting that promotion. Yeah,
absolutely. We saw Alex Rins there. He has been a remarkable rookie this season. He's got his race face on, and we mentioned it earlier, but this is a chance, Tito Rabat's sideline, for him to step up to second in the championship standings.
Yeah, Rins is only 22 points behind Tito in the championship. Siren here having a great weekend as well so far, but with Tito out, possibly for 2 rounds, Rins could very, very well take the second place in this championship behind Zarco, the champion. But also Sam as well. Sam Lowes is only 40 points behind Rins as well, 42 behind Tito. So there's every chance that even Sam could finish in the top 3 of this championship now.
Well, let's hear from the new Moto2 champion. He's with Hodgie.
He certainly is, and what a deserving world champion. Incredibly consistent all year. I know he's got his race face on now, but I'm so proud to be talking to the new world champion. Well done, Johan. You've had an incredible year.
Thank you very much. It's nice to hear what you say. Anyway, I was happy to be strong during the weekend and manage well my bike to be in pole position, and we prepare very well the race for the dry conditions. So today it's like a big change, but I'm usually quite good on the wet. Just this track is a lot of grip on. So I must get used a little bit. Some riders are faster than me at the moment, but I believe in the race that I can understand the pace, relax myself, and fight for victory. Anyway, 15 laps is not short and not long. That's why I want overall to finish the race and enjoy this Sunday.
You enjoy this Sunday, fantastic. I'm going to walk back actually now. We're going to see Sam Lowe's. Quite interesting. I just want to say, all he wants to talk about is this race. He doesn't want to bask in being world champion already, and it's just such a typical race. His mind is just focused on one thing. We're going to speak to Sam. In fact, I thought this might happen, but my man, Gavin Emmett's beat me to it.
Yeah, we're just down here on the second row of the grid. Heading it up, of course, is Sam Lowe's. Sam, you've had a couple of sighting laps out there. Changed conditions slightly from this morning, but happy with everything out there?
Yeah, it's similar to this morning. It's still pretty wet, to be honest. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit, to be fair, in these conditions, but I'll give it everything in the race and see what I can do.
I've seen people go with a yellow tinted visor before. Got the blue tinted visor on before.
That was just for these 2 laps. I'm going to change it for the race.
You've got to go. But you're happy with everything this morning? You made any changes?
We've made quite a few changes this morning. I struggled a little bit, to be fair. I didn't have good pace, so I'll get in the race, try and stay smooth and keep improving.
All the best, Sam. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
We want him to be smooth, JT, because I'm looking at the championship standings and Thomas Luthi, who is starting on the front row, is only 2 points behind, Sam.
Yeah, he won last year as well, so he's got a lot of confidence around here in Motegi, and it's a bit worrying just hearing Sam. There's a bit, he hasn't got much feeling in these conditions. It is drying with the look of it, but as I said before, the track is so long it could be drying in some places and still in very, very wet conditions in other. But I hope he can get a good result, because with Tito out, it's a fantastic opportunity for him to get in this top 3 of this championship now.
Yeah, and Sam always so honest. He wears his heart on the sleeve, and when things don't look so good, it shows in his whole body language. But as soon as the lights go out, he goes into the machine that we love and appreciate and admire going around any track, but hopefully Motegi today.
Yeah, the speed up, it always works better in hot conditions, and it's not hot, is it? Especially when it's raining. So I think this is why he finds it more difficult on this bike than the other Kalex riders around him do. But yeah, one rider that does like these mixed conditions is Johannes Folger, so it's going to be a great race, though. Yeah,
great race, and it would be brilliant if Johann Zarco could back up that world title with a win, and maybe then, as Hodgie said, he could take the emotion and bask in all the celebrations. Let's join the commentators then. You're Julian Ryder, and you're Keith Ewan.
The Moto2 grid is lined up then here at Twin Ring Motegi. Zarco, your new world champion, alongside the winner of last year, and a fast German in these kind of conditions, with Sam Lowe's not got the feel he wants, but he might have the row he wants. At least he's close to the front when it comes to that awkward couple of first turns. Rins and Sirin underneath him. Nakagami on row 3. And in the middle of row 3, of course, that is Axel Pons. Why is that not there then in that situation, Julia?
Where were you supposed, sorry?
Middle of the 3rd row, we were missing Axel Pons.
No idea, I didn't see him. Illegal sighting lap, demoted to last on the grid.
That's exactly why he was moved then. So Axel Pons not in the middle of that 3rd row, and there is race directions. Thank you for that.
Just as we were wondering, they told us.
An extra sighting lap.
Naughty boy.
That's cost him dearly, hasn't it? That is going to be like the worst penalty in these kind of conditions.
And he qualified in the middle of the 3rd row.
Yeah, that really is. What's going on now? I see a bike being pushed to one side. There's Axel Pons coming down pit lane, so he's decided to roll to the end of pit lane. I saw a bike being pushed as well a moment ago. So a little bit of action going on down in pit lane as we go off on the warm-up lap now.
So Axel Pons will roll out of pit lane and form up on the back of the grid.
Yep. Exactly that. I was just wondering what the other motorcycle was that was being pushed at one side. That might have just been a spare bike. Actually, there are no spare bikes unless there was
big knee sliders there on the
giving you the double slider to give you that little bit of elevation into the turns. Now this track now, for me, this is trickier than it was for Moto3, because we've got half dry, half wet, or half damp. In fact, we've got all the range, haven't we? There is a part of this track that's still chucking up water. Some of it that's just damp, and some of it now just drying.
Edging towards a drying line in some places.
And that will tempt people in on the brakes into the inside manoeuvre and chuck it up the inside. And you can see they're slightly dry underneath the bridge, and then it's wet again at the other side. That's not a bridge, it's the circuit, of course. Difficult conditions, and again, you can see just there it goes from being very damp to the drying line in the middle of the turn. these Moto2 machines. We're on board here with Sam Lowes. Still plenty of cloud around, Jules.
There is.
But at least we're seeing cloud now rather than mist.
Every rider will be unsurprised to hear, Keith, on the wet Dunlops. Just to confirm, they are saying a track temperature of 23 degrees, an ambient of 22.
23 degrees being the lowest that we've seen it during the course of the weekend anyway. There is no sunlight. It was mist-shrouded hills all around us. Although that mist has cleared off and we can now just see plain cloud, Julian.
We can remind you that Tito Rabat, the reigning world champion, is sitting this one out. His arm injury recently broken, too much for him to think of racing.
Apparently working as a commentator. I see that their erstwhile PR person of the Ian Wheeler has got him a job as a commentator and taken a swipe at me at the same time. Thanks, Wheels. I really appreciate that.
That's economy of effort, isn't it? 140 characters to get both those across.
That's Wheeler. Back with Zarco.
The world champion elect.
Rolling then in at the end of the warm-up lap. Clearing its throat. The 4-cylinder 600cc Honda being rolled onto pole position. They want to get a clean start here as well, down towards that turn 1. There he is then. Pole position for Johan Zarco. Looking for that start. He starts from pole for the 7th time in 2015. From his previous 6 poles this year, he's had 5 wins and a 2nd place finish. So don't bet against him. Watch out for the 55 to your far left. His siren has been quick all weekend, and in these conditions, he could be the wild card. Watch out what goes on. Red lights out, we're green now, and through comes Luthi, but I think it's Folger who's going to have to run down towards turn 1. The 94 of Folger looks really good into turn 1. Will they all make it though? Aslan Shah was tripping them up in the middle of the turn 1 into turn 2. And out front Folger, well, we did say before we came on air that Folger might well be a great bet. And look at this, he's got the perfect start.
He has indeed. His victories have come in the wet. Aslan Shah got spat out of the saddle coming out of turn 2.
He looked wild in turn 1, but there is Sam Lowes in 4th place at the minute. That's a good start from Sam Lowes from the 2nd row of the grid.
Let's see if he can just get smooth, get in the groove, and think about fighting for a rostrum. And the man in front of him, as our studio pointed out, Tom Luthi, and he only a couple of points apart.
Nakagami through on Lowes, so Nakagami grabs that 4th place. He takes no prisoners. There's high side almost as they bash into each other a bit further back down the order.
Zarco, was it? No, he's there. What a twit.
Even I wasn't going to beat you up for that one, Joe.
What a twit.
Never mind, Zarco.
I thought I'd been clever spotting the new colour crash helmet, conveniently forgetting he was right there following Folger.
So, 2nd place man Zarco, a little bit offline there from Thomas Luthi, while Julian wishes he'd got a helmet on as he beats himself around the head.
Quite hard, these microphones, when you hit yourself with them.
Folger out front, 94 from Zarco, from Luthi, from Nakagami, from Lowes, and then that Rins that made his way through, I think it was.
Yes.
So Rins is in 6th place now.
No surprise, as you said, to see Jonas Folger going all like this, but Zarco going with him. Luthi, the victor of last year, next along with Shirin.
Just making his way up the inside of Julian Simon. So 55 Shirin, Simon is 60, being moved off the line. Next up is a danger man as well.
Julian Simon's in our hotel. He couldn't walk to the car this morning. His leg was so painful.
Oh, Sam Lowes there, just touching that white line, made me jump out the seat. So just getting a little squirrely was the 22 of Sam Lowes. That's Taka Nakagami. Over the line they go. Folger, Zarco, Luthi, Nakagami, Lowes, Rins, Siren, Simon, Corsi, Shah, Cortese, Simeon, Alex Marquez in 13th, Luis Salom in 14th place, and Ricky Cardoux 15th.
Joshua Hook, the Australian on number 16, who is deputising for Domi Agata, is a fair way back, 22nd at the moment.
I tell you, whenever I see a bike that's aiming at the apex, a long way out into the braking area when it's still damp like this, you just... The thing is, with a straight line full braking crash, it's the hardest thing. You can't control it. 1 minute you're on the bike, the next minute it's a face plant. Here comes Rins, looking at Lowes. Lowes sweeps across his nose.
Julian Simon bites back at Taffy Siren.
Siren will soon be straight back at him again, and he is straight underneath him. Simon gets moved out the way. Aslan Shah is there as well, and the Indomitsu bike, Taka Nakagami's teammate. There is Nakagami on bike 30.
We have a jump start. Louis Rossi
Well, that won't play too much in the
No, he's
order
back,
of things, will
back
it?
in 26, Keith. And the fact they've called him in means nobody further forward has transgressed.
Nakagami on Luti. Lovely, classy move. Moves Luti out just a fraction on the exit. And there it is, 96, the jump start with the man with the gloves. That's the way to dress, isn't it? He's sartorially brilliant.
Great stuff.
Jacket, badge and motorcycle gloves. The ride through for Louis Rossi. And see me in the hotel later like that.
Yes.
Folger, Zarco. Look at these two just
They're off,
clearing
aren't
off,
they?
aren't they? Yeah. Oh, that was what I was
Johan.
talking about. That front end just braked and locked that front wheel momentarily, and that is your worst nightmare.
Good save.
It's just probably just coming off it
Yes,
automatically
yes.
anyway, and it saved itself. But
Yeah, gyroscopes are wonderful things like that, aren't they? Rins on the move.
Yeah, back in front of Lowe's. So this is your leader on the... we always give it quite a hard time, the paint job for the AGR team, don't we? It
Yes.
always looks like a club meeting somewhere at...
Yes, that's just on a Tuesday or something.
Siren now after Sam Lowe. Sam Lowe saying he hadn't got a lot of feel on that motorbike, and if there's one thing you need in these kind of conditions, it's feel. Here comes Louis Rossi for his 60 kilometres an hour trip down pit lane. Don't transgress that either, otherwise you'll have another one.
Poor bloke was right back in 26th anyway. You really don't need that as well, do you?
Yeah, there's nothing quite worse than a wet ride at Motegi, particularly when you've had to do a drive-through as well. Fastest lap, Folger, 2:04.166. Just to give it context, 1:50.339 was Zarco's fastest ever Moto2 lap of this racetrack earlier this week.
Ooh.
There is Shirin underneath 22 Sam Lowe. So every time Lowe gets back... Oh! Out has gone Luti. It is Luti.
It is number 12, the winner from last year.
Down in the turn 11, surely. I'll bet your money on it. So Thomas Luti has gone out, the winner from last year, into the gravel trap. So through the braking area and then out. Let's take a look at it. Down through the gearbox, Luti. And then, yeah, trail braking in. Wait for it. There it goes. Unceremoniously tipped into the sandpit. Nothing you can do.
Oh,
Almost held it.
trying very hard.
Yeah, trying very hard. The lights under the oval there, shining the way. But it's Luti that's out. Last time's winner. He'll remount, but he won't have any effect on this race at all. Here comes Johan Zarco, the world champion of 2015. Looking at the inside of Jonas Folger. These two tidy riders, Jules. There's nothing quite like a battle between these two.
Exactly. And Jonas Folger.
Great thing is, Zarco doesn't have to worry about a championship, so he can do whatever he feels like doing. And if it means slinging it up the road by making a slight mistake, it's not going to bother him. He's already world champion.
Alex Marquez making progress as well.
And just moved past our own Sam Lowe's, who's now slipped to 8th place.
Moved up a couple of places as Marquez. And these two are just fractionally pulling away from third place Nakagami.
4.5 seconds back to Nakagami.
Folger may be inconsistent, but he's consistently fast in the wet.
He's been good all week this week, though, hasn't he? Dry and wet. So he was the man last year that everybody was making a bet on to be the next best, the next great thing. And just faded away in 2014. Found himself with AGR for this team, and it's been a strange old year.
Funny to say, but a bloke has won 2 races this year. The first man to win 2 in this class this year.
Fact, yeah, absolutely. Here's Nakagami in front of Rins. Then looking back to Shirin in front of Marquez was there, but I think Shah and Marquez now in front of Lowe's in 8th place.
So Sam is obviously having those problems. As Van Shah impressing again, nearly as much as his fellow countryman Shireen. There is going to be fun at Sepang, isn't there?
This is Alex Rins just moving the knee of the double knee slide. In fact, that's a deep knee slider rather than a double knee slider of Sam Lowe's out of the way. Both of them with clear visors, neither of them reacting.
I love racers. Yeah, there's contact, not one flicker of an eye to the left or right. Still looking straight ahead. It's perfectly normal in a day's work.
Seeing it at 2,500 frames a second, probably
yeah, fair point.
faster than the eye can blink anyway.
We've lost Josh Hook. He has crashed out of the race.
Yeah, he had one off in warm-up this morning as well, so he's tasted the deck twice. Do you feel like Zarco is just sitting here waiting for the track to evolve until he's ready to make a move? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Yes. And Rins, what's the gap third? It's It's a 4-second gap.
Yeah, 4.5 seconds from Zarco back to Nakagami and Rins.
And you're right about another thing, I hate to say, but it's obviously the case, Keith. We're going to get that worst of all worlds, a patchy track before the end of this race.
Yeah, it's the one thing that most riders don't like. They don't mind it wet, they don't mind it dry, but this stuff where it just dries, you've got to chase the track all the time as the track evolves through the length of the race. Remember, only a 15-lap race, this one, 44 miles of this track. Should have been a 23-lap race, 68 miles. Big difference.
You see, look, little dry patches on the line round this part of the circuit.
Yeah. But again, when you're riding at speed, very hard to pick them out when they're patchy.
Absolutely.
Very hard indeed. If you've got a long, looping, dry line, that's a much easier line to follow.
Yes, as we saw at the start of the race, spray being thrown up by the rear tyres in other parts. Oh, Shah on tyring.
Well, a couple of Malaysians having a bit of a go here. That'll be the way. We'll see a bit more of that in Sepang.
And Marquez behind them. That's the older lad beating up the kid.
Good thing about damp patches here as well is that, of course, Dunlop will be happy. It keeps their wet tyres or their the tyres that they've decided on for this race nice and cool. And if it was drying all the way around, we'd have wrecked tyres by the end of the race. Oh, Marquez on Shirin, but already sharp, finding grip and getting away. Here comes Marquez, but Shirin's not having any of it. You want it, you've got to take it a little bit more firmly than that, young Alex.
If you haven't seen the super slow-mo of Shirin's save with the elbow from yesterday yet, find it.
Marquez is getting frustrated.
And Shirin's giving him the elbow whether he wants it or not.
Oh!
Is that a mistral or is that a wild card?
That is the 97, which is
Vierge.
Yeah, Vierge, indeed.
It was a mistral. I say that because Yuki Takahashi's wild card, Moriwaki, very similar blue and yellow colour scheme, and I was covering myself there, Keith.
In glory.
No.
Takahashi on a Moriwaki.
Quite the reverse.
I like a bit of Moriwaki out on a race, especially in Moto2. Good to see him back.
Yeah, the original champions of the first year with Tony Elias, the Moriwaki factory. There is a
here we go.
crasher.
Yeah, he's got a crasher, but we've also got Zarco in front.
It's Nakagami.
Nakagami's gone down, but Zarco's gone to the front. 10 laps to go of this 15-lap race, and Taka Nakagami has blotted his copybook. Yeah, that doesn't look... That's just going to be the front that's going to fold under him here. With... he's gone right to the white line. He touched the white line. Touched the white line, just edged it on the white line there, and the front just went straight out from under him. There's not even a Dunlop wet tyre that can cope with a slightly damp bit of paintwork. So Taka Nakagami, yeah, I think that says it all. We all feel for you.
Indeed.
Here's his teammate, Aslan Shah, though, doing a brilliant job on the 25 machine from Rins, Shirin and Moto3 world champion.
That's the fight for third place. Aslan Shah up in third place.
Marquez on the back.
And Shah, I have to say, is looking every inch the part at the moment. He said, touching wood. Whoops.
Out wide, Alex Rins.
That's why Shah went through to third.
Yeah, with some margin as well, but he gets it back on track and gets a good run at the next opening. Aslan Shah having a good go here. Rins back on the case from Shirin and Alex Marquez.
Shah out shining his teammate Nakagami. A couple of English mechanics worked for Aslan Shah, and they were saying at the start of the year, Keith, he's really upped his game. He's been a step change. I said, yeah, of course, he's a nice bloke, we all know that. But yet, remember Indianapolis? How well he went there?
Similar conditions, though, Jules.
Yes.
If we want to be slightly pedantic over that. And he is 31 years old, so he ought to be used to these kind of conditions. He will have seen them a few times. Nevertheless,
for a man who's never scored points before, this has been a nice little season for the Malaysian.
Here's your race leader. The new 2015 Moto2 world champion gets down to business, and he did keep that new paint job helmet on for the race as well. We've seen him swap it about a little bit with his more traditional helmet. He will stay with the number 5, I'm told, next year. He's decided he wants to stick with number 5 due to merchandising. I'd rather have a big fat number 1 on my front end.
I don't think that number 5 is particularly memorable. This is the replay of Zarco taking the lead, coming down into turn 11.
And staying on that dry line all the way down into that turn in the braking area then, Julian, as well. So clever thinking from Zarco. Picked his moment, picked his space on track. Meanwhile, this is your battle, as Julian has said, for third place.
There's some squirming around going on in some places now.
Sandro Cortese coming to play on the number 11 as well. Keep an eye on him. Ricky Carduce having a good ride. Oh, another minger of a
Mechanical
weekend.
for the Belgian.
Xavier Simeon then this year. He got the flick.
Yep.
Of course, we know who's going in his place. Oh, and Alex Marquez is having your place.
He got it.
Sam Lowes is taking over from Simeon next year, and a little bit of waving going on for Siren.
Trifle excitable is the young Malaysian.
Yes.
We have Marquez in the hunt for a rostrum in this group as well. But, oh dear, if you go out that wide. Yes, Ricky Carduce there behind Cortese, the yellow-fed Suter chassis, stiff, horrible, difficult in the dry, yet conversely, historically, very good in the wet.
How's that work then?
The same reason the Ducatis did exactly the same thing, Keith. No one knows.
Nicely put into context.